They say that women spend an average of 600 minutes on a mobile phone every day, compared to 459 minutes for men, according to a study. This time is usually spent on work-related tasks, like sending emails, as well as social media surfing. However, this is not just about the numbers. In fact, phone usage can reveal a lot about your personality. Constant phone checker. Being constantly dependent on your phone can make you more impulsive and easily distracted in other areas of life. According to studies, people too attached to their phones may become more emotional compared to those who can stay away from their phones an entire day and keep a nearly full battery. So, if you want to become more focused and calm, try limiting the number of phone checks during the day and not exceeding this limit no matter what. And of course, don't forget to reward yourself at the end of the day for your own patience and discipline. Bubble bath, a delicious dinner, a night walk with your special one. Choose what really motivates you. The ascetic user. Cell phone owners who don't use their phones that much and ignore technological capabilities such as cameras, payment, access to social media, and so on. If it's all about you, congratulations! According to studies, not being tied to your phone is a nice place to be, because such people feel more relaxed, satisfied with their lives in general, and tend to have higher self-esteem. The phone drowner. Some people can grab their phones just to answer one single text message and get stuck on social networks for long hours, forgetting about other things. If your screen time makes you blush, perhaps it's time to limit your phone use. Researchers found out that cutting the phone usage duration and frequency may help raise the level of optimism and become more productive. The midnight user. People who frequently fall asleep hugging their phones raise the risk of waking up on the wrong side of the bed. The blue light emitted by cell phone screens restrains the production of the key sleep hormone melatonin. So, falling asleep becomes an even more difficult task, as well as waking up the next day and feeling energized. As for the opposite, people with a higher sense of duty usually stop using their phones before midnight. This is wise because sleep loss affects our mood greatly. It's usually recommended to avoid looking at bright screens 2 or 3 hours before bed. The full battery user. This behavior is a sign of high discipline and leadership skills. Conscientious people don't like when a battery is low. So, if you prefer your battery properly charged, perhaps it's a sign to call upon your leadership skills and reconsider your career. The excessive caller. Making and receiving too many calls? Study shows that extroverted people make and get more irregular calls and text messages during the day. And this also applies to nighttime. Of course, the modern age of technology is just a paradise for extroverts who can now connect with friends all over the world. Just make sure you don't forget to sleep, eat, and hug your loved ones sometimes. The avoider of calls. On the contrary, more introverted people tend to make fewer phone calls than others. This may be caused by shyness and few social contacts, or simply the willingness to focus on one task at a time. Besides, many people have developed a telephobia, the fear of making and receiving calls. A person with such a disorder has anxiety when someone calls and struggles with receiving any calls. If you notice such symptoms in yourself or your friends, know that you're not alone. It's pretty common. Recent research of UK office workers revealed that 76% of millennials and 40% of baby boomers experience anxiety-induced thoughts when they hear the phone ring. So it's good to have so many alternative methods of communication. The round-the-clock user. Speaking of phobias, there's an opposite disorder when people develop anxiety caused by not having a working mobile phone. It's called nomophobia, and it's also pretty common. More than a half of polled adults tend to feel uncomfortable when they lose their cell phone, run out of battery or credit, or have no network coverage. So, if switching your phone to airplane mode makes you panic, it makes sense to remind yourself that just 100 years ago, people lived without cell phones and still managed to survive and evolve. The phone breakers. Surely everyone knows at least one person who constantly breaks and loses their phone. Such people tend to be more impulsive, rushing, and multitasking than others. But it turns out that this behavior is also pretty common. The average American drops their phone on the ground 4 times every week. Over a third of polled people also confessed that they drop it even more often than that. Statistics show that people usually damage their phones at home, while cooking in the kitchen, watching movies, or even in the bathroom. If you want to reduce the risk of damaging your phone, use it with both hands, especially while taking pictures or typing messages. You can also use a reliable screen protector and stick a phone ring holder to the back of your device. And, of course, keep it in a secure place when you're not using it, in those rare moments. The faithful user. You also probably know someone with opposite behavior, a person who uses the same phone for decades. The top 3 reasons why people go and buy a new phone are breaking down of current device, battery life decrease, and simply the desire to purchase a new model. But in faithful users' hands, the cell phone magically becomes an unbreakable totem that accompanies them for years and even decades. This type tends to stay in a comfort zone and observe the world from the outside, appreciating small things in life. The ringtone person. These guys despise the basic ringtones and strive to customize their phones with special music for each and every contact and occasion. Only about 15 years ago, the only way to get custom ringtones was by purchasing them from a service provider. But luckily, today you can create and load your own ringtone for free. On the one hand, using ringtones can make your friends laugh and dance, but on the other, it can be pretty annoying for some people. In any case, this characterizes such a user as a bright and extraordinary personality, capable of resisting public opinion. The loudspeaker. This refers to people who always shout into the phone and attract everyone's attention. When it comes to phone calls, they seem to forget all the rules of etiquette. It would be useful for such users to visit the Tokyo subway one day. In Japan, it's considered extremely bad manners to talk on your cell phone on trains and subways. Of course, they will not write a monetary fine, but they can issue a warning for such behavior. The fashionable user. Take a look at your phone. Does it look like a colorful holiday tree or as a basic piece of glass and metal? Customizing your phone case, adding accessories, and changing wallpaper regularly characterizes artistic personalities sensitive to beauty and wanting every aspect of life to be stylish. Maybe this is why the mobile phone decoration market has become a huge multi-billion-dollar industry. The full storage user. If your phone memory is permanently depleted, this may indicate you're a very open-minded person who doesn't care too much about the future. You probably tend to avoid boring routines and delay tasks. But at the same time, you may be a talented creator, so take a closer look at your artistic skills. As for the memory, mobile producers most likely will very soon invent a gadget able to store your entire life. On the contrary, regular cleaning of your storage from music, photos, and videos can be a sign that you're good at strategic decisions and long-term planning. So, perhaps it's time to apply those skills to build the life of your dreams. The no-phone user. This type covers people who live without phones. Do they even exist? Yep. About 1 billion people across the world still don't own any mobile phone, and a third of the world's population is unable to access the internet. There are exactly 5.13 billion people in the world who own mobile devices, which is around 66% of the world's population, and only 35% own smartphones. So if you own one, you're in a lucky minority.
Ever was having a birthday party. At one point, she noticed that her twin brother Noah went to his room with some girl. Ever wanted to take a closer look, but her friend distracted her. When she returned, the couple had already been gone. She had 3 suspects: Eliza, Jane, and Isla. When Ever went downstairs, she immediately realized which girl her brother was dating. Can you figure it out too? Eliza isn't wearing her cardigan. Ever saw it in Noah's room, hanging from the chair. So it must have been her who was in the room with the guy. Serafina was having a birthday party, and her guests brought her presents. Her boyfriend, Mason, got her a pair of beautiful high heels. Her sister, Daphne, got her earrings, and her best friend, Ada, got her a scarf. All the gifts were amazing, but Serafina still had one person to change their present. Who messed up? Mason, look. Both shoes are left ones. Esme got lost in the forest. After wandering around for hours, she finally came across the witch's house. She pet the cat and gave it its favorite snacks. After that, the girl asked the witch if she could help her again. The witch was packing. She was planning to go fishing the next day, but she had a problem. Her fishing rod was 13 feet long, and the transport company the witch was going to use only allowed to take things that were no longer than 12 feet. The witch couldn't figure out what to do and asked Esme to help. If she could find some solution, the witch would help her get home. Esme found a way to pack the fishing rod without breaking it or breaking any rules. What did she offer? The witch should pack the rod in a box the size 5 by 12 feet. Diagonally, the 13-foot-long fishing rod will fit perfectly, and the box will still only be 12 feet long. Ren came back from work and checked his mailbox. There were a couple of magazines and a letter. It turned out to be a love letter, but it wasn't signed. Instead, there were several numbers in the end. 18, 9, 12, 5, 25. Can you guess who sent Ren the letter? Each number indicates the position of the corresponding letter in the alphabet. The 18th letter is R. Letter number 9 is I. And letter number 12 is L. The 5th letter is E. And the 25th one is Y. So, Ren's secret admirer is Riley. It was the first day of college. Lily came there with her new cell phone, which she, of course, showed to all her friends. At one point, the girl went to the bathroom and left the phone on her desk. When she returned, the gadget was gone. She asked everyone in the class what they had been doing while she had been away. Cleo said she had been talking on the phone with her best friend. Charles said he hadn't been doing anything, just listening to music. Jake said that he'd been busy finishing his homework. That was enough for Lily to understand who had stolen her cell phone. Can you guess? Jake said he had been finishing his homework, but it's the first day of college. There can't be any homework. Vivian and Susanna are online influencers. Can you tell which one is likely richer? Pay attention to the number of followers each of them has. It looks like Susanna has way more people watching, so she probably gets more sponsorships. The police had been looking for Alex for months. They got the information he went to Cuba. That's what he told all his friends. But then he was accidentally found in Norway. The police know his girlfriend helps him, but they aren't sure who his girlfriend is. They ask Alex's friends who the guy is dating. But all of them name different girls, and all the girls deny being his girlfriend. Then, the police decide to check the messages the girls sent to Alex. Take a look at these texts and try to understand who his real girlfriend is. His girlfriend must be the one who knew where he was actually going. Looks like all the girls stay in touch with Alex, but the snowflake in Layla's text looks suspicious. You don't send snowflakes to people who go to Cuba, so Layla must be Alex's girlfriend and his accomplice. Take a look at the picture. Can you crack this puzzle? The answer is the number of times the line crossed in the image. It must be 3. Sierra found herself locked in a dungeon. She couldn't remember what had happened. She looked around and saw a door that could be a way out. But to open it, Sierra needed to know the passcode. Luckily, there was a hint. Sierra had just one try. If her guess was wrong, the dungeon would get locked forever. Can you help the girl decide which password is the correct one? If you take a closer look, you may notice that some of the digits are faded. This is probably because they were the most frequently used. These digits are 1, 3, 5, and 9. The only code that has all of them is the second one, 3915. That must be the one. Mrs. Darcy is a mother of 3 teenagers. Late at night, she was sleeping in her room when she heard some scratching, then the sound of the window closing. She realized that one of her children was trying to get inside or sneak out of the house. Take a look at Susie, Brittany, and Celeste's rooms. Can you tell which girl sneaks out at night? It must be Brittany. Look at the shoes by the door. They're all wet, so she must have just returned. A rich lady, Mrs. DeRavin, was looking for a nanny for her dogs. She invited 3 candidates and asked them why they wanted the job. Isla said that she was totally broke and she needed some money. Olivia said that she loved dogs, but her parents wouldn't let her have one. Liam said he had a lot of free time and thought of getting a job. Mrs. DeRavin let everyone go so she could think and make the final decision. After all of them had left, the woman discovered that her very expensive ring was missing. One of the candidates had probably stolen it. She asked them to come again, and when the woman saw them for the second time, she knew exactly who the thief was. Have you figured it out? It was Isla. Last time she said she was broke, but look at her now. She's wearing new designer clothes and gold earrings. She also has an expensive phone. She must have stolen the ring and sold it. A young girl, Georgia, got poisoned and was taken to a hospital. Detective Callum took up the case. He went to visit Maddox, Georgia's sister's boyfriend. Maddox hadn't heard the news yet. Your girlfriend's sister got poisoned. Do you know anything that could help the investigation? Maddox said, "Poor Georgia, she's a good girl. I have no idea who could possibly want to poison her." The guy also showed the detective a picture of him, his girlfriend, and her sisters. After taking a look at the photo, Detective Callum immediately arrested Maddox for poisoning the girl. Why? In the picture, there are 4 girls. This means Maddox's girlfriend has 3 sisters. Then how did the guy know which one had been poisoned? Lyra met 2 guys online. The girl was trying to decide who she should go on a date with. Asher said he loved summer sports. He even played hockey professionally. Oliver said that he played basketball. He was on the state's basketball team. Lyra figured out that one of the guys was lying, so she chose the other one. Can you tell who's lying? It's Asher. He said that he likes summer sports, but hockey isn't a summer sport. The guy would know it if he really played it. Once a company owner returned to his office and realized someone had been there and used his computer. Of course, no one but him was allowed to use it. He walked out of the office, looked at his workers, and immediately realized who had done it. Who was it, and how did the man know? It must be this woman in the middle. Take a look at the director's office again. The mouse is on the left side of the computer. It means the person who broke into the office was left-handed. The woman's left hand is covered in ink. That's because she's left-handed and slides her hand over her writings. Kai broke into his music teacher's office. He wanted to print out the answers for the next day's test, but the computer required a password. Luckily, there was a post-it note that said 4361. Can you guess the password? Take a look at the wall. There is a list of music notes hanging there, but you need the letters. Now, the 4th one is F, the 3rd one is E, the 6th is A, and the 1st one is C. The password must be FEAC.